it's Linda, and I have a dessert recipe that I'm going to make today. This one, I've called it Butterscotch Chip Caramel Cookies. The only reason I don't make cookies very much is because even though these cookies are only 1 point for the first one, 2 points for the second, and I think the third one goes up to 4, you have to watch it in the WW app, because if you eat too many of them, you will gain weight. And so it's like anything, you've got to, do everything in moderation. So if it's too tempting for you, then maybe you don't want to make it, or you want to just discipline yourself a little bit more and just put out so many that you're going to eat. On this recipe, you can make up the dough and then freeze it, and then when you want to make more, you can take it out and cut it and slice it and make some more. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to go ahead and try this one. I've revised a few recipes I found and put things in it that I like. So I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to get started. Got a little bit of allergies going on today. People are mowing their lawns around here after all the rain. What do you know? Anyway, so the ingredients I'm going to be using in here, maybe I'll go ahead and put my glasses on and tell you how much of each one in case I miss it when I'm doing the video. And 1 large egg, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Also, my girlfriend told me about this cake batter flavoring, and it's really good. So it's really good in cookies and cakes. So I'm going to use this instead of the vanilla today, but you can use either one. 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, not the self-rising. 1/2 teaspoon of the baking soda, and 1/2 cup of I Can't Believe It's Not Butter Light. Now, I know when I did a recipe yesterday, when I was watching it later, I forgot to say light. There is a difference in points. Make for sure you get the one that says light. Okay, and then the next is 1 cup of the brown sugar replacement. This one here is Sorbet. I also have a little bit left of the Sucron Gold that I'm going to use. They both are made all natural, and they're 0 points, and so I get these from Amazon. You can always go to my website, and I have links to them if you can't find it, and hope it helps you. Then the next thing is I'm going to do a teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of nutmeg, and then 14 tablespoons of the butterscotch morsels, little butterscotch chips. 14 tablespoons, I measured it out. It's almost 1 cup. So it's like a little bit under 1 cup. I would say probably like 7 ounces, I think, when I was measuring it. It's quite a bit of chips in there, but the recipe, like I say, is only 1 point. Okay, I'm going to get started. I am going to preheat my oven to 400, but not quite yet, because I'm going to make this first, and I'm going to use my food processor with the dough blade on it, because it's easy for me. Otherwise, you need to use a mixer. And I'm going to mix all this together, put it on plastic wrap, which I will be showing you, and roll it up. I will put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. I think it says 20 minutes or an hour, or overnight, but probably an hour, and during that time I'll throw in laundry and do something else, and then I'll come back and bake it. So here we go with the recipe. So when you start the cookie dough, you're going to start first by creaming some of the ingredients together. So I've got 1/2 cup of the I Can't Believe It's Not Butter Light. That's going to go in. I'm going to get every bit out. Okay. And then I'm going to add 1 egg. I'm just going to kind of lightly beat it just a tiny bit before it goes in. 1 egg. And then it's going to be, okay, let me see, brown sugar. 1 cup of the substitute brown sugar. And you want to make sure you pack it down good, which I did. I packed this good, so you get every bit in. So the 1 cup of the brown sugar replacement. This one here is the Sorbet, or it might be part of it might be the Sucron. And then on the vanilla, yeah, it's 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I think I had 1/2 teaspoon here. So this was the 1 teaspoon. So instead of the vanilla, I'm going to put the cake batter extract or flavoring. It's really good. You can use it in replacement of the vanilla. It just gives it a little different taste, has a more buttery taste to it. And now I'm going to cream this all together, and then I will be right back. Okay, everything's been creamed together here in my food processor. Like I said, you use a mixer, or if you want to use a food processor, I love my food processor. I have it out all the time, so that's what I'm using. So next I'm going to add all the rest of the ingredients except for the butterscotch morsels. So 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to go in here. 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Goes in next. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Not baking powder, baking soda. And then 1½ cups of all-purpose flour. Not self-rising, the all-purpose flour. Then I'm going to turn my food presser on, let this all mix together, and then it will go to the last step of adding the butterscotch morsels to it. So here we go. Okay, it finished mixing, so what I'm going to do now is scrape the sides down real good. Then I'm going to pull out a big sheet. I have all these really cool things in here that my husband made this for me. Anyway, I'm going to pull out a sheet of, you want some plastic wrap. I use the press and seal, so I think it'll work okay for this recipe. But I'm going to lay a strip of it down, and then I'm going to put the dough on it and roll it up into a long roll. Be right back. Okay, I scraped every bit out of the food processor, and I've got it lined up here on the plastic sheet. I got to thinking I probably should have sprayed the plastic sheet with a little bit of non-stick spray, because it's pretty sticky, but we'll see how it turns out once it's cold and go to cut it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray the sides of it before I roll it up. Okay, I've spread it about 2 inches wide here. I did another sheet of plastic wrap because the other one, it was sticking to it. Probably because it's the press and seal. I sprayed it with a little bit of butter flavored non-stick spray, so it makes it easier for rolling. I washed my hands real good, so now I'm going to add the chips. So I think what I'm going to do, because I'm doing it afterwards, is kind of putting a little divider down the middle so I can kind of mix them around. And I'm just going to put it on top, and then I'm going to roll it up. Another thing you could do is add them later, but when you're cutting it, it's kind of hard. So we'll try it this way. So I'm going to just put them here, kind of here like in the middle. That's a lot of chips. I kept hitting the recipe builder to see how many chips I could get in this recipe without making the cookie go over 1 point. And so I was able to go all the way up to 14 tablespoons if this makes 60 like it says. But this is a lot of chips. We'll see. I may not use all of them. I don't know how I'm going to get them all in here. So I'll probably cut it down a little bit. We're only going to really use like probably like 1/2 cup of the chips. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it. Take this around and roll it up. I'll be right back. Okay, it was a good idea just to lay it, you know, a couple inches out flat. I put a little groove in the middle. I poured the chips into the middle. Then I just kind of took my plastic and rolled it around the top and kind of crimped it together, rolled it together until I got this all crimped together. And then I took my plastic wrap. I really didn't even have to touch it with my fingers. And I kind of just pushed on the top seal. So now all of the chips are inside. And it should be, like I said, around 2-inch roll here. It's almost coming out the end here. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for an hour while I go work on some other stuff. And then I'm going to come back and slice it and put it in the oven at 400 degrees. Be right back. Okay, I just realized the roll was way too long to put in the refrigerator. So I've cut it in half, which is good because I only want to really make half of them for now. And I'm wrapping them with some more plastic wrap. I'm going to stick both of them in the refrigerator in case I do want to make more later. We'll see how they turn out. And if not, this will go in the freezer for another time. So pretty cool. Okay, I just took it out of the freezer. It's been sitting for an hour. You need to make for sure it's nice and firm. So I put it in the freezer for an hour. I put the other half in the refrigerator for now. But I am going to put the other in the freezer. I'm going to double wrap it, put it in my freezer, and it can freeze for up to 3 months. And then when you get ready to make it, you will set it out for 1 to 2 hours to let it thaw a little before you bake it. So now I'm going to cut this up. hopefully I will get 30 slices out of this one. It says to cut 1/8 of an inch. This is from a couple different recipes that I tweaked together and added my own stuff to figure this one out. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, to make sure I sliced them up right, I cut the log in half, and then I cut each one in half again, so it gave me 4. This is already at the half of the recipe that I did. And so I wanted to get 30 out of this, and I ended up getting 8 times 4 is 32, 33, 34. I ended up getting like 35 out of here, because it says to cut them like 1/8 of an inch thick. So they look like they're like this. I'm going to put them on my cookie sheet. I'm going to spread them 1 to 1.5 inches apart, give them room to spread. And each piece looks like it got chips pretty well, evenly in there. So we'll see how this turns out. Like I said, it's going to go in the oven for about 8 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to check back on it. And it is a good idea to freeze it, because if it was doughy, it would be harder to put on here. So here we go. Okay, they look like they were kind of like little half moons. I think because when I pushed down on them with the knife, it kind of pressed them down a little, and they were getting soft. So I think if they were frozen probably a little more, they would have stayed firmer. Who knows? You could probably even do these with a little scooper and just do it in a bowl. So I just went ahead and took my fingers and lightly wet them and flattened them down a little bit. And so now they look a little better. They're probably going to be small cookies, but that's okay. You could make them larger. They're just going to be more in points, of course. And I'd rather have a bunch of little ones on my plate to psych my mind out than to have 1 or 2 big ones and feel like I didn't get anything. But that's just me. I'm going to put them now in the oven for like 8 to 10 minutes. I put parchment paper down on this large cookie sheet. I lightly sprayed it with a little bit of pan, but you don't need to do that. It says not to grease the pan, but I put a little bit of the butter spray on it. So now it's going to go in. I still have some left over, because there's 25 on there, so I still have some left here. Well, here we go. Okay, I've got the cookies in the oven, but I wanted to add something else to this, just to let you know. I did change the amount of butterscotch chips. Remember when I was showing you, it was too many. So I only ended up using 1/2 of a cup, which is 8 tablespoons. So I adjusted the recipe. It's still only 1 point per cookie. These cookies are small, so you know, if you wanted a bigger cookie, it might be more, of course. But 2 cookies is 2 points, 3 cookies is 3, and 4 cookies are 4, and 5. You can have 6 cookies for 6 points, where it would have been like 8 before, by cutting down the butterscotch chips. So I have a feeling if you wanted to make them bigger, you could probably get by with having a few bigger ones. And also, I'm taking the other roll that was left over, and I'm just going to wrap it with some more of the press and seal. I'm going to put the date on it and what it is, and I'm going to put it in my freezer. Okay, they're all finished. They ended up cooking like 10 minutes, 11 minutes at 400 degrees in the regular oven. And my husband's just dying to try a piece because he just got home. So I'm going to bring him over in just a second and have him try a piece. And just remember, if you like my recipes, please share them with others and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope it's a blessing to you. It's a blessing to me when I get wonderful comments that people keep asking me for more recipes. I just really enjoy doing this. This is my retirement hobby, and I'm so glad I have it during this time while I'm shut in. So I hope you enjoy it, and you can always find the printable recipe on my website. Since you can't print from YouTube, I created a website just so you can go to it and print your recipes. There's no advertisements and junk you have to go through. Just go to amazinghealthyrecipe.com, and I will have that little page that shows you the link to my website at the end of the video. Okay, I'm going to get my love over here in a second. We're going to do a taste. You have a wonderful and a very blessed day. Bye. I guess I'm cutting his head off a little bit. But here, go ahead and try them. They are small, but that's good. They're 1 point each. How do they taste, babe?
Not bad.
Not bad? Are they good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a compliment coming from him. And like I say, they are 1 point, and I'm gonna try one. It'd just be so good with coffee.
Yeah.
They're good. Okay. Cheers. Here's to
Cheers.
another good recipe. Talk to you soon. Bye.